You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, welcome back to another Sunday service. And today's episode is working without results when life feels stagnant or you feel stuck in life. Now, on this video, I just really wanted to talk about it because you may be doing the right things or you may feel you're just going in circles. And it could be a multitude of things. It may not be your fault. It may be your fault. And believe it or not, a lot of people feel like this in life, especially when people have the so-called midlife crisis. I wanted to focus on this video and hopefully try to give you pointers how to get through it. And importantly, number two, not to lose focus. And the biggest thing, number three, is not to lose hope. Because when people are going through these things, they tend to let it bring them down, their self-esteem, and stop their progress to where they stop working hard, and it could force them to miss that opportunity, or even worse, just force them to stop trying. Because I do know at the end of the day, like I've always said, no one is going to save you but yourself. So you got to you have to keep that high self-esteem. You have to keep that hope alive. And if you don't keep that hope alive, you could go into depression. You could go to bad habits you don't want to form, like being an alcoholic, or retail therapy, spending money that you don't have just to feel better about yourself. And this is something I think people have to come to terms with so they don't go down that rabbit hole of a bad decision. So you have to keep your spirits high. And I'm going to talk about a few things of that. Number one, you can be doing all the right things. You can be whatever your goal is. Now, the only thing is when it's working out, it's a little bit easier because of the calorie counting. Because if you're calorie counting and working out, you're going to see the results. But everything else, let's say if you're putting out for applications, because I know I may have seen a lot of those videos out there on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, wherever you watch your social media content or get it from, of people applying for a lot of jobs. Some people applying for hundreds of jobs, thousands of jobs, and they're not getting the job that they are qualified for, or they're not even getting the lower end jobs at all. That's when you could feel at your lowest, but you got to kind of have to find a way to stay up. Now, I do know one of the things I do to help stay up is doing this YouTube. This is something creative and it helps relieve stress. Going to work out, going to go play basketball, those are stress relievers to kind of get away. Now, when you get away from that problem or even this rut in life, you can't forget about it. The point is of having stress relievers is it gives you an opportunity to relieve that stress so you don't go down that spiral I talked about earlier. Being an alcoholic, retail therapy, bad things that are not conducive for you and where you're trying to go in life. So you got to try to find something to keep your spirits up. One of the few things that keep my spirits up is doing YouTube, going to work out, going to go hoop. It's things like that that keeps my self-esteem high, especially when you work out, because how does the saying go? When you look good, you feel good. That's why I say working out is one of the biggest things I know people can implement in their life when they feel stuck or in a rut or just feel they have some type of depression. If you start working out and you start seeing your body change, that can build up your self-esteem and make you feel better about yourself. And you got to understand this is just part of life. Sometimes it could feel like the hamster on the wheel to where you're working hard and nothing's happened. You're working hard, not getting that promotion. You're, like I said, applying everywhere, not getting that job. It's part of the process. And I know that's something you don't want to hear, but you have to always remember, number one, someone always has it worse than you. Because let's just say you're at this level making this pay. There's someone at this level who wants to get where you're at, who's trying to get to that same spot. So you always got to kind of think it more of a macro, in other words, bigger, to where it gets you outside of yourself. So you're thinking differently, because if you're thinking about yourself, of course, you're going to think about all the trouble you're going through or how you're not accomplishing anything or where your life is at. But I guarantee you, if you expand that mindset and do it and view it from a macro level, you'll understand that someone has it worse than you. The main point of that is to understand that be grateful for what you have. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't stop to achieve all those goals you want, that promotion or more pay or whatever that is. You just understand this rut or feeling stuck in life is something that everyone goes through. So you can't be pity and you cannot think that, the world is picking on you or, having that type of woe is me or being down type of mindset. You just have to understand, look, this is where you are right now. Now, there's only two ways you can go. You could sit here and mope, or you could take the better route, at least be grateful for what you got, and you keep working, and you still constantly go through that process. Now, like I said, you can feel like you're going nowhere. You can feel like you just work, sleep, eat, and sometimes that's life. But you always got to go back and reflect on on what you're doing. That's why I've always said, if you're organized and you're writing your goals down, you're going to get somewhere, because if you're tracking it, you're going to see where you're underperforming or you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Because in my personal opinion, when you're stuck in life or feel like you're not going anywhere, or you feel like you're in a rut, as long as you're doing the right things, like I said, those right things will snowball into the wins. You have to do so many things right until those wins start coming. And that's when I say people do things, people give up so early to where they didn't give time for the wins to start coming in. For example, this YouTube, I'm still continuing to post 1 or 2 videos a day. Now, am I getting a whole bunch of views? No. Am I getting more views in my shorts on my shorts channel? No. But with this channel, I'm still going through the process. I'm still putting in the work and also focusing on other things. So I have a set time to when I do this, and then I go to other goals like working out, applying for more jobs, doing other things. And as long as I track it and see the process, I see that it's growing, because in actuality, you may not be stuck. You may not be in the running life. You can be growing, but you're not seeing the big wins yet. And the big wins only come when you keep constantly doing it. And I think this is the main reason people give up early. This is a reason why people really do feel like they're stuck in life, or they're just going in circles. It's not because they are doing everything right and, they're tracking it down. It's just because you may be only working hard for a month and you're expecting these big results, or you're only working hard for 3 to 4 months and you're expecting these results. You need to be like this every single day. For example, take this YouTube, how I'm posting every single day. I need to be at it every single day. I think today we'll make it posting 41 days in a row. 41 days isn't enough. I got to see how I get for 1 year and 2 years and 3 years. And then maybe that 4th year, my YouTube and everything will finally snowball, because I got all of these videos that can become evergreen, so I can still get views even though they're not new. And that's what I'm talking about. So you have to put in that work. And like I said, you may not be in the rut. You just didn't get that big win yet. Now, let's say you are doing things the right way and you're not seeing the results of what you want. That's when I say you always go back and reflect on yourself. Track it, write it down, put it on somewhere, put it on your iCalendar, put it on something to where you could track it and see, am I doing the right things? Get you a planner with your time, or you could do it on the YouTube, like you do it on your YouTube iCalendar. Block out your time to where you start tracking, okay, how many hours am I wasting a day doing this? What am I doing at this time? What am I doing at this time? Do a block schedule with your hours so you get the most. And then if you're tracking it that deep, that's when you can understand. Like, for example, when it's 4 a.m., I know what I'm doing on what day. When it's 12 p.m., I know what I'm doing on that day. It's all about understanding about your time, because if you're managing your time correctly and you feel like you're doing what you're needed to be doing, you're doing it every single day, and it's not working, then it's not your effort. It's something in your planning. It's something in your system that you need to fix. And before I end this video, I just want to say, you may not get those big wins, but people are so worried about the big wins, they're not literally seeing the small wins. For example, if I get 5 views on a video, that's a win for me. Now, is that a big win or a big accomplishment? No, but it's a small win. So you keep focusing on those small wins. And I know social media may have skewed people's brains a bit to where they'll see people post like 5 videos and they go viral. Those are exceptions to the rule. Remember, exceptions don't make the rule. Everybody, the majority of people, are going to have to get those small wins for months, years, until they get that one big win. And that one big win may be your only big win, and you may not stay there, and that's life. But you have to just focus on the small things, because like I said, you may not be in a rut, you may not be stuck, you may just be getting these small wins and you're just overlooking it because you want the big goal so fast. And I understand that, because I feel that way too, because when I put in these work for these videos and they don't get the views that I feel like they should get, or that I know that, or I should say the views that I want to get, and the time you put in, it can be frustrating. It can let you down. But you got to understand, if 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, or 5 people watch it, you just have to take that small win and keep going. And then at the end of the day, y'all, you got up this morning, you got to be grateful for that. You may not be where you want to be in life, but keep your head up, work hard, understand what you're doing, track what you're doing so you could get out of these ruts, and then most importantly, get you a hobby to help relieve that stress. And y'all, that's it for this Sunday service episode. I just want to say I appreciate all the support. Y'all stay safe this week, and I will see y'all in the next video.